meat in the freezer.
So happy I'm on lunch.
It's so stupid. I think it might work.
Chaos, like every hunting season.
Seems like it's not going anywhere, but it also seems like it could go somewhere.
He lost his paper bag, I swear.
I will not. I'm actually pretty good directionally.
We should be live, and dude, my voice is like
Ooh.
real deep. Real, I could. You're listening to the Okayest Hunter podcast, coming to you from Oconomowoc, Wisconsin.
That's nice.
I should lose my voice more often.
You got to record an intro quick.
Today we're talking with Bear Archery. It's gonna be a great episode.
Mr. Laryngitis over here.
How'd you get so good at podcasting? I got laryngitis. Oh man, here it is. Let's rip this potato chip.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast.
Jeez. Cheers.
Never pass on $100 because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag. You hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
We're very green today.
Very earthy.
Yeah. Getting in touch with the earth.
Dude,
No, you got to do the voice.
listen here.
No, you'll burn your voice out.
No, actually, it feels good to go an octave lower. I'm a baritone anyway.
A baritone?
Yeah, there we go.
That's what you're doing.
Playing
That's
words.
what you're
Yeah,
doing.
my bow is a baritone. It's very deep. Is your bow a baritone, or what's the opposite of baritone?
Dude, I don't know. Music
what's the
stuff.
music term here, Mr. Art Teacher? Arts of all kinds, right?
Yeah, except I don't study
Fine
one
art.
kind. And that's the music kind.
I can't
I
think
am
of it.
inept. I am terrible at anything musical.
Oh, that's funny. We haven't changed our intro ever. It's been the same since we started this thing.
If it ain't broke.
The old one, when it was Where to Hunt, I went around and interviewed everybody at one of the trade shows, and I had all the different voices coming. I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, that's cool.
But it ages.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those people aren't around. They're different. Things have changed. This has been the same. We haven't changed shit. And
Consistency.
I think that's a good thing. I think if you listen to this every week and you hear that, is that exciting to you as a listener? Like, as you get your coffee ready,
These lazy bastards who never change their intro around
I just don't even want to. It's pretty, but you do. If you think about the things you listen to, do you have a morning routine?
I mean, yes, but not really with like listening to something.
No. But do you listen to
that
stuff?
changes. Yeah, radio sometimes. Sometimes just put it on the radio.
You hear it takes you back.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I used to listen to Bob and Brian at work when I was a young fella, and they had the same,
And it just tuned you in.
yeah. Like, oh, this is what I'm listening to now. We don't have segments and stuff. We could. I used to overproduce the shit out of the show a long time ago, and it just was like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze on the effort. So hopefully this is good for everybody. But I do want to take a second. I was at SHOT last week. I got laryngitis from probably being there, is my guess, and it was a good show. A lot of energy there. It's a big show. Someone got stabbed, apparently, I heard.
Gerber?
They don't
Was it
exhibit
Gerber?
there. So it wasn't anything to do with the Gerber product. They don't need any bad press. Caleb Stillions, I think, helped apply the tourniquet. So I want to see if we can get Caleb on at some point to tell us what the fuck happened. I think that'll be interesting. There's some good brands there. It's just good. It's like a family reunion, much like ATA. It's just very much more overwhelming. I had some things I was going to talk about. There's some new category. They have like all this new stuff on display like they do at ATA. And one of the things was this face mask.
Oh, I saw you posted that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't actually go. I have talked to those people.
Did a scent face mask?
Yeah, it prevents your breath from getting out, so the deer doesn't smell your breath.
Does it work better than camouflage, though?
Is that a thing?
Can anything work better than camouflage?
I talked to those guys as a marketer, and I was kind of like pretty apprehensive. And then I saw it there. I was like, I remember these guys, because like the PR agency's not from here, or something like, so they don't have the contextual, like, endemic knowledge.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I don't know, guys. Good luck. Like, I wouldn't want to be working on this one personally. Like, I just don't know how that's going to be received.
Yeah.
So that was an odd product that stood out. There was a drone that had a full-blown, like, gun on it. That seems pretty scary because those are real things now, and they're overseas. They're being used. Some of the armored tanks were pretty wild and impressive.
Oh my gosh.
There was a cooler company that so all the Yeti coolers, they're spray foamed inside. So you have your wall that normally air would be in there, but Yeti does the spray foam, or whatever they do. I don't know, it's probably proprietary. In between where the air pocket would be, it's all foam. So this company that we met, and I'll have to figure out what the heck they're called. I'm forgetting off the top of my head, but the whole cooler is the styrofoam, but then they sprayed it with a coating on the outer edge. So it's super lightweight, floats, doesn't weigh a damn thing compared to anything else in the market. But the stuff that they sprayed it with is like a DOD grade spray foam that like blocks fucking bullets
Holy
and
shit!
transports. So it's like over engineered, but like a whole different spin on it.
I just love how
So it's just really
the-
cool.
The design process for coolers has really taken forefront to mankind in the last 20 years. Like, we got to figure out how to keep our beer colder.
It's fun.
It's a big deal.
And then Night Ties is a brand. They're in the basement. We joke about the basement because it's like the fucking Titanic. Like, it's a different vibe down there.
It's a weird.
And they're like, "Oh, you're down with the pools." No, there's some Yetis down in the basement. Like, it's not all that way, but there's so many fucking brands down there. It's like you cannot even begin to fathom how it goes on forever. It looks like an endless mirror of booths. It's like, Jesus, where am I in the 400? This goes to 700. Where even am I? But Night Eyes is down there, and Night Eyes is this brand that like you see at the front counter of Home Depot or Ace Hardware.
Dude, I always buy something from them.
Their marketing lady is the nicest lady. She's been there for every year we've been there. She's been there. She's so nice. And she's like, "You guys want your goodie bags?" And And I'm like, "I fucking love the Night Eyes booth because you guys have the cool stuff that I would never know how to talk about, but you just use it." I have a Night Eyes on my keychain.
I got
My
a bunch of
dog's
their
got one
stuff.
on his collar.
I got a
Like,
bunch of their stuff on my hunting pack.
yeah, their
I use
headlamp
this
is my
shit all the
favorite.
time, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, we did see Nosler there. We talked with them. Like they're kicking ass, dude. I'm really excited for the new building to be done. There's like an opportunity that we might go out there for that. So
Oh,
we'll
sweet.
see what that looks like. We talked to Right On. They exhibit there. They're a partner of ours. They're just not as front facing as everyone else, but if you listen to any show on the network, you'll hear them. They had some new binoculars come out there. The magnification's much stronger. They're larger pair, but they weigh less than or as much as the smaller ones. So kind of solving for a neat problem. Like it's huge pair of binoculars, but they don't weigh shit. And it's really good glass. So it's it's cool to see some stuff there and see all our pals and all that jazz. But we do have a guest on the line.
We do.
So
Let's bring them on.
I'm gonna let you do most of the talking just because I'm shot. I did send you a text with all the bows we want to get through.
Oh, yes, you did.
So we got Ryan Schutz on the podcast. You were with us here, maybe it was like a year ago, Ryan. You're the category manager there over at Bears that we can see with all the bows hanging behind you. You're the guy that brings these products to market over there, and these are your babies. So we're happy to have you again.
No, I appreciate it. I tell everybody they're my babies. I like to talk about all of them. It's hard to pick favorites, but there might be a couple favorites or two here. A little different than babies.
Yeah, well, yeah. We all got our favorites. And I apologize if I got the last name wrong. It's been a minute, and I forgot to ask specifically if it was Shoots or Shuts.
Shuts.
Okay, so I was right. I gotta just stick with my gut.
There
I know
you go.
Just like when I'm hunting. Well, thanks for joining us. How were you at ATA?
I was. Yep. ATA went through quite a few changes this year. It was pretty fun.
How was it because you guys are one of the only archery companies there, and you're one of the bigger brands that's there. You have a large presence. From your perspective, how was it, and how was the consumer experience?
I thought it was really good. I thought the consumer experience was great. So, no knock at all on the ATA. It felt like ATA of 10 years ago. So, from a working it standpoint, so the consumer part was on like Friday and Saturday, and it was just nonstop. You were just talking to people the whole entire time, people that wanted to be there. The dealer aspect was good too. I will add, Indy's kind of been plagued with not so great weather during the ATA show the last couple of years. This year we had some good weather. So I want to say one day it got up to like 64 or something. Of course, we were inside, but the nicer it is, the more people want to travel. So I thought the dealers showed up really well those first 2 days. And then once the public was in, it was great. I mean, they got a chance to see and shoot and feel everything. And it's just wonderful to get that type of feedback on everything from, the dealers know our product lines and they know everybody else's product lines. You get consumers in there and, they get a chance to shoot a whole bunch of other bows from other companies too and kind of stack it all. So it's pretty cool.
That's good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. I was there for a minute. I did see JC, and I did shoot the Redeem, which I thoroughly actually really enjoyed. And I've been shooting the Persist, and previous to that, I was shooting the Legend XR, and previous to that, I was shooting the Bear Empire. So I've been a bear guy for my entire hunting career, except for my dad gave me a Dart and Viper, but I never shot a deer with that one, unfortunately, and it was a pretty old bow.
Well, I know you were excited about shooting the Redeem because I think when you called from ATA, that was the first thing you talked about. Was, oh man, I just like stopped by Bear, it was really good, and then you mentioned the bow and that you kind of secretly fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Was that kind of a consumer favorite? Or was that one that you were really excited to put in people's hands and let them shoot? Or what was your kind of thought process, Ryan?
It was. So this is one where, the specs are really good and I can hit that on that, but this is one of the bows where it's so much more than its specs. So the big thing that we did on this bow this year was, and I have it in my hands, is inside this pocket, we've allowed you to be able to pretty much micro tune, to really paper tune the bow through the pocket. Of course, you still use the rest and everything like that, but made it, and we tried to do it the way we do it at Bear. Is we want to give you lots of adjustability, but we want to make it as easy as possible. So of course, use your pro shops, things like that. But even with that, we made sure there's a gauge on both sides. So what you're doing is really you're adjusting every single pocket. So 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. And what it allows you to do is there's a screw in the back here. So you're able to move this up or down, and there's a gauge that tells you where it's set at on both sides. So of course in the manual, I mean, if you're tearing left, tells you how to adjust it to get it to tear right, etc. But it's one of those things we've kind of hit it too. So aesthetically, you wouldn't even know if it was there if I didn't tell you it was there. But what we tried to do inside this too is anytime, you can make something tune better, you could maybe potentially have it tune worse, and we don't ever want you to have a bad experience with our product. So we've got stops in there, so even if it was completely out of tune, it still wouldn't be that poor. So we made sure to kind of make it so you could only make it better, if you know what I mean. So we were really excited to see how that went over. And then this is also a brand new cam, EKO2 cam. We wanted to pair a new cam with that that technology. We call it QPC technology, so quad pocket control technology. So we wanted to really give everything new there too. There's some new enhancements to the riser, but the shooting experience you're really going to feel on the cams.
Yeah, and I'm sure you'll talk a little bit more about the cams, but that quad pocket technology you're talking about, that's not really something I've heard from any other companies. Are there other brands that are allowing you to adjust the front and back end of your pocket to like paper tune, or is that kind of new for Bear?
So it's definitely new for Bear. It's new-ish. I would say you've started to see some different companies really in the pocket. Some have done it in the cam for a while, and then now people are migrating into the pocket. There's a few different companies. We all do it just, you know how that works. We all do it just a little bit different. So that way it all, everybody kind of makes it work with their systems the best. And this is the way that, it really worked with ours. And what we really did is we went with that dial on the side. We really wanted to make people know they had control of it. So you could see and know exactly where it is. So kind of give you a micro adjust to it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to expand on the micro adjustments. That sounds like a very acute, specific type of adjustment given the name, but I know you guys are known for having the ability to let your archers and people that bow hunt with your products make adjustments. This sounds a little bit different or nuanced to what I'm normally used to hearing.
It is. It's just kind of that next step. So kind of jump into the pocket a little bit. So that was our big thing with like the cam you were shooting before was the EKO. So this is the EKO2 cam. It's very similar, but what we tried to do is make all the adjustments easier to do. So all of them now are on one side. So now if you're a bow tech or work on bows a lot, it's kind of a pain when you gotta, you know, do screws on this side, do screws on that side. Small thing, but ease matters. So now everything's basically on the one side, and then we simplified it so you can still adjust this. So you can set your let off. So you still get a pick if you want 80 or 85% let off. And we just made it easier to where you really don't even need the manual. You just pick on here if you want it 26, 27, 28 and a half, and then you move your mod and you move your string stop, and there's this little plus or an arrow to 85 or arrow to 80, and you do everything you do on the top, you do on the bottom, or vice versa. So it allows you just to adjust that much better. And then kind of back to the pocket is lots of times you don't even, I mean, once you get it all tuned up, you might not even need to use the pocket adjustment. It might be your rest and everything could be set up perfect right away. We try to make sure everything's set up, but what you find is every shooting style is a little bit different. And that's really where this came from, is some of us in our Bear office don't have any problem paper tuning a bow. It just depends. And a lot of that is in your style, your grip. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but some do not, and some have a hard time with it. So that's where we really tried to, okay, how do we make it easier for everybody, right? So that's really where that came from, that we needed something in that pocket. And we wanted it as seamless as possible.
I think that ease is huge because we talk to a lot of people, and like there are the Ben Wellens of the world who can like put their hands on anything and figure out how it works and make it do what they want to do. He's a friend of ours who's a mechanic and he's great at tuning bows. Then there's folks like us who like maybe read about it here and there, and we can get things to fly semi straight. But I think having that so easy where like, okay, here's the manual, I just adjust like the left pocket this much, and to fix this tear, just puts it in the hands of your customers and allows them to like feel like they're really getting what they wanted, like maximizing their purchase, right? Like I'm getting optimum performance and I'm making it happen. Like they're learning a lot about
not even just easy, but simple. And keep it simple, stupid comes to my mind. And you're really spelling it out. You're leaving very little room for error for someone like me to mess it up. Honestly, if you guys ship me this bow and I would challenge JC and team over there to be like, let's see if these idiots over there can figure it out. Because if we can, then anybody can. And furthermore, you're like, you said the instruction will tell you if you're off the left, you want to go this way. Whatever reason, I don't know if it's because I learned how to BZO a gun before a bow, but it's opposite with a bow than it is with a gun. And then I start to get really like backing up a trail. I'm like, wait, am I turning left or am I turning right? Like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And my brain just spirals so fast and I start panicking. And then I'm like, which way did I go? Oh my gosh. So having some of these things just spelled out for me in plain sight, I think would help someone like me not overthink it so darn much. And I'm excited to see it and to experience it, because it does sound like it's going to be a lot easier for folks.
We think it will. And a lot of pro shops, I mean, once you get your bow set up by them, they come out of those shops usually shooting bullet holes anyway, but this just gives you that little extra step. So, and like you said, what you said on, it always, like, I love it when there's notches or grooves or you can see, because of course you'd be like, did I turn that 3/4 of a turn or a half a turn or 2 turns? Now you can see it, where it moved or where it didn't move. So little extra step on our side there, but completely worth it. So continuing on the redeem, so we still have small thing, but something we think is important for hunting. So we still have that pull up loop. So little small deal on it, but it's nice. That way you know exactly where to attach your bow if you want to pull it up in your tree stand and
It's
out.
a
And then,
non-metal part too, which I can appreciate. So it's just nice. It's a nice
yep.
little feature.
And then the other thing that we did on it too was, and I don't know if I covered this last time or if we had this in there yet. So there's a little hole right there. So I know you guys were just at SHOT Show and kind of on the gun world. So like your Magpoles and stuff that have like quick detach slings, so this would be the female side of that. So those like Magpole Quick Connect would fit right in there, and we have it at top or bottom. So if you already have a sling for your gun or anything like that, it would fit on this bow.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Why
that's
not
pretty
make
great.
it dual purpose like that?
Yep. So that way you're just able to adjust it back and forth. So a little small feature, and you would never know if we didn't exactly tell you either. It's just a hole. But then as you continue down the riser, vibration's a huge part. Was also part of the persist. It's changed a little bit, but so we have two in riser dampeners. So one right here, and then one towards the bottom. Then we also have, I kind of call it kind of a dual action string slap. So of course you've got a little bit harder rubber to grab your string, but inside is kind of a gel. So it's kind of like, it definitely almost shock absorbs. And then you also have in limb dampeners. So we really make sure that, you're getting a vibration free shot through this because it is a high performance cam. I didn't go over the specs, but you've got 340 feet per second. You can adjust the let off to 85. So it's as high performance as anything out there. Then a little small thing, kind of like what we did with the pocket, but we actually put a level into the bow too. So of course, as you're setting up your sight and like second, third axis, all that, there's right ways to level your bow and tools to do that. But this just allows you one more way to do that, a little bit simpler already on the bow. So should help with that accuracy when you're trying to dial in that sight.
As a product dev guy here, thinking through the things that are going to make these bows better, the incremental improvements, if we think about the persist and now the redeem, like it's all very iterative. Like you didn't have it on that one, but you have it on this one. Like, is it difficult to continue to raise that bar of like fine tuning these improvements in an incremental way? That I hope I'm making sense with what I'm trying to ask. It just feels like quite the challenge, and it seems like one that you're fit for and enjoy. I just don't know how you stumble onto these things with like, oh, well, we can do this. Like it's a constant learning, right?
It is a constant learning. I think we're very blessed. We have, of course, we're end users, so we're not just like we're building this stuff for everybody. So the feedback that we get is exactly what we're looking. I mean, we're always looking for feedback, but we're using it too. So, when you're out there, I wish I could say I just sit in the tree stand and think about what deer's going to come by and stuff like that, but I'd be lying to you. Half the time I'm like, I wonder why we put that there. I wonder if I should adjusted that. Is that really the best thing that we could have done there? So you're always kind of
Like an artist critiquing his own work.
Yes,
that's exactly right. Sometimes it takes the fun out of it, but it's all right. There, you figure it out, right? So it's small things like that on could we do that or not? But I don't know that you get that if you're not a user. Now you also just shooting. I mean, you get those things too with vibration and stuff, and of course testing and things like that. But we're always kind of looking at that. And then sometimes, I like to think of it like vehicles, right? Sometimes first year of a new motor or something isn't great, but then the next year's down the road, you just always trying to make it better. And bows are somewhat that too. There's always something that's a little bit different trend, or I mean, I say this all the time, is I have job security because if any of us could make one perfect bow, we'd be out of business, but there's not one perfect. Everybody wants something different. So
does some of this stuff come from the manufacturing floor with like the machining equipment and hey, we got this machine, now we have this capability? So you talk about year one of a motor, like now we have this form, we've made it, now we're tighter, but you're kind of like starting from not square one. You're like, I think about prestiging in the game Call of Duty. Like we've prestiged 5 times. So we're at level 1, but we have 5 years of experience rolling into this one. We're at a much stronger starting point than just starting at like literally level 1. Is some of that part of that iterative process too?
100%. So sometimes, yes. So there's constant communication on, what we want to do, like from an engineering standpoint versus how do we manufacture it, and then also sometimes, they come up with ideas on, what if we made this, this installation could be easier. So it's constant like that. I'd say that's one of the, things that we're constantly trying to make it better, right? So it's not just coming up with a concept and idea. You have to be able to manufacture it. If you can't do that right, no one's going to be happy. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty constant. And Bears, it was just 90 years. What are we at, 93 years now? So company's been around a little bit and manufactured compound bows for a long time, a big part of that.
I'm curious, Ryan, being, such a hands-on part of designing and putting this bow together as your flagship, you probably had your own ideas about what, were going to be the best points of it or what people are going to love. The feedback you got from consumers so far and putting it in hands that people have shot, what have you heard? What did people like or mention or talk about?
So the pocket, of course, gets a huge amount. Everybody loves it. If you're a bow tech guy, so really getting into it, you love the pocket. It just makes it so much easier for them to do their jobs accurately with the adjustments in the pocket. As for the shoot and feel, I think simplifying this cam, and then you'd mentioned before, I didn't talk about it too much, but the riser is of course redesigned. So it's a little bit lighter. It's just little bit sleeker. Just it feels just that much better than a Persist, in my opinion. I'm also a shorter axle to axle guy. Again, everybody has their own thing, right? So this is a 30-inch axle to axle. I'm a shorter draw archer, so I don't mind a shorter axle to axle. So those are the type of things that kind of jump out that people have liked so far. And then, I mean, it's always good when no one says a word about vibration. So we focus so much on that to make sure that there's no hand shock, and we definitely seem to have hit that goal on this bow.
When I shot that bow at ATA, it felt, like I said, lethal. It was the tolerance was tight. I shot it at the full capacity of draw weight, and I was like very impressed. And a buddy, Eric Tasker, would happen to be just off my shoulder. And if you watch the video, I think I might have posted some sort of video or picture or something. He was telling me, he's like, dude, I didn't even hear the thing at all. And I know it's not even. ATA isn't shot. It wasn't that loud there on a non-consumer day. It was,
Yeah, they're
You
different.
would have been able to hear
you know,
it.
it was
If it was
it
going.
was,
boom.
it was quiet, and
those
yeah.
aren't usually fully set up at ATA either. I mean, we have rests and a few things on
Yeah.
them, but not a hunting rig by any means.
No, certainly not. And I didn't have the release that I like to like everything. So even knowing that I wasn't fully set up, I didn't have. It was a very stubby release, so it felt a little awkward for me for that. But given the awkwardness of not having it be for me yet, it still felt like I had a lot of confidence at
Like it
full
was
draw.
for you.
I was like, I want to spend some time with this one. Like it felt really good, and I like my Persist. Like I said, it feels a little bit more Cadillac. Like it feels like the back seat of a big car. You know, I don't know if that analogy sits with anybody in some sort of way, but it's like if a couch were in the back seat of a car. That's what my Persist feels like. So I'm comfortable with it. But bringing a couch into the woods, it's a lot to bring out there. And I've had success with the bow, so I'm not knocking it. But this one feels a little bit more. I don't like to use the term ninja in the woods. It felt like I'm out there to kill something. So I'm personally pretty excited and enthused about it. I know we have other bows to talk about, but it's good to hear how you're speaking about that progression and the story that goes into how you got to where you're at. Because you can't knock another bow that's in your lineup, because that one had a reason to be there too, and that's not what I'm trying to do. Just you get excited about the next thing too.
No, they all kind of fit their position, and I think it balances really well. High let off cam, short axle to axle. To your point, it just, when you shoot it, I always tell people the way you should shot for a bow, and you guys were just shot, so you get this too. There's certain bows and weapons, like you shoot them and you just smile. I'm always looking for the smile factor, right? Like I can remember a few guns when they first came out and was able to use them, and you're just like, wow, that just makes me happy to be able to use something like that. And of course, that's what we're looking for in each bow. Is sometimes you just pull it back and it just already aimed perfectly. I feel like the Redeem does a really good job of not needing to look at your sight bubble. It just fits well.
It's good to go. Is there anything else worth calling out while you got that one up?
No, I think that's good. I mean, the specs are similar. It's, we're known for adjustable cams, so 25 to 30 all on one bow, or 25 to 30 inches of adjustment all on one bow, the let off adjustment. So it's definitely worth checking out.
And the next one in the priority here that we have is the Alaskan Pro, and that one's been around for a little bit. I think that's what Greg was shooting on our team here. I don't remember what Tyler was shooting. I don't think it was the Alaskan, but I could be wrong. I should know. Also,
so there's been a few different Alaskans. So Alaskan XT was the which is still in our line that we launched 2 years ago, and it's 33-inch axle to axle bow. That's probably it. We definitely, the Alaskan and then like the whitetail are, kind of original Fred Bear names that we try to make sure that we're keeping in the line and try to pump quite a bit of value into those. We do it in a lot of bows, but this year we really when we came out with the new Alaskan Pro. I mean, that was our goal, is that there would be a ton of value and kind of extra features added in this. I mean, that's what Fred's big thing was, is that he wanted to make sure high-end archery was accessible for everyone. So we make sure that we keep those price points into that, plus push some new technology into all the bows. But we definitely make sure we focus on those two quite a bit.
It's good to go. No, yeah. And so, yeah, if you want to dive into the
Okay.
Pro, that'd be great.
So on the Alaskan Pro, really just to give you guys an idea.
Is that?
Sorry about that.
Is that?
That
Hunger?
Yes,
Nice.
that was
All
my
right.
ringtone, and I even have it on sign out. So
That's
we're
okay.
gonna,
We're not judging.
yeah. So no, the Hunger Games helped anybody in the archery land,
Right.
so it'll be my
That's a good
ringtone
point.
for a while. I have to credit that movie for quite a bit of success. So, I mean, just good product, but other things too. It sure made archery popular.
It helps that Jennifer Lawrence was, played a big role. I'm a fan.
Yeah, it definitely made archery something people wanted to do. So actually, I've got so many bows. Here's the Pro.
You got to sort through them and find the right one.
Yeah, I do. So skipping ahead. So on the Pro, what we tried to do was, so I just said before, we just came out with the new EKO2 cam. So we put that on the Redeem. So our flagship, the best bow. And then we also put that on the Alaskan Pro right off the get-go. So that adds a ton of value. So that gives this bow a speed of 339 feet per second. It's a longer axle to axle, which a lot of people prefer, just depends on the stability of the shot you're looking for, and then also your draw length. So 33 inches axle to axle. This cam on this bow is adjustable from 25.5 to 30.5, and then it still has the same. You can set your let off. Everything's on the same side, so you can go 80 to 85%, and then you can get this in 45 to 60 and 55 to 70 set of limbs. But so what we really added to this bow was really tried to put some flagship quality items on this next price point. So it gets the EKO2 cams, it's getting in-limb dampeners, in-riser dampeners, and they're a little bit different. So we put a little stiffer one on the top, and then our counterbalanced weight one towards the bottom, and then also our better string stop. So you get the gel with the rubber, and then we also put a little rubber, just a little bit of a little rubber notch on here. So just in case, this is a capture rest on this one in the RTH package, but if you're using a drop weight, anything like that, we're always, we're a hunting first company. So we're always thinking about hunting, making sure that you don't get any ding or, carbon or metal on your bow to where it would make any noise to alert an animal if you're out there, right? So just some small things like that. So really, those are kind of some of the highlights behind just the features on this particular bow. And we're doing that. You can get it in RTH for $759 and then a bow only for $659. And this one's done extremely well so far. I haven't seen anybody do a review out there that says this isn't the best bow for under $1,000 or a value. I mean, this is a great bow to shoot when you're in a pro shop shooting all the other bows to really stack it up, and especially if you're on a budget, to see how it stacks up against those other higher end bows.
A question I have, and I'll try to articulate this in a way that makes sense as long as my voice doesn't completely give out on me here, because it's the end of the day. The adjustability that you build into these bows, I had learned this recently, that you start to tune things down a little bit, that maybe some of that lack in tolerance you get could leave some more room for error. Hold on. Sorry. And I just wanted to hear your take on if you were to reduce the draw weight or bring some tolerances down, what impact does that have, and how do you guys factor that
on
into
performance?
Yes, thank you. And I'm sorry, I'm pushing it here apparently.
No, I follow you. I get it. I would say we work pretty hard on that. So I would say, like, we've been a module bow company for so long. It's probably close to 20 years, a long time. Now, of course, the cams have adjusted so much there, right? So like, this is a 3-track cam. There's some, when I get to the Adapt, that's more of a hybrid type cam system. I mean, so we have some different cam systems that work a little different with that mod. So I can tell you, our engineers, when we're working on that, they're looking, I mean, the pieces, you guys would just be enamored at all the specs and info that they take down on, okay, what's it do when it's set at like 28.5 versus 20? And then you even get more detailed on this particular bow, because what does it do at 28 when it's on 80% let off versus 85% let off at
All the
60
mixing and
pounds
matching.
versus
Yeah.
70 pounds? So we're looking to make those blends, and that helps us that helps the engineers adjust on what type of modules they want to put on there, because what we really want is that we can get the best performance we can out of that. And then really, I mean, that's the whole thing, is we give that adjustability because we want, of course, we want archers from everywhere. So if you're beginning, middle, expert, whichever you want, where you know exactly what to get it set up at. But the reason we give that kind of range, and then we have some other bows that have a much bigger range, as you guys know, like the Legit Max and the Cruiser G4. I mean, we want you to still be able to grow or adjust with that bow and find that perfect size without giving up performance. Instead of, I mean, there's other bows that you then would have to buy, new cables and cams and a lot of other stuff. So we make sure that, we didn't go down that path. So we're trying to give you the very best. So I can tell you, it just takes a lot of research and development to get that as correct as possible.
Well said.
You'll forget more than I'll ever know. I think it's the saying I'm looking for there.
I work with a great group of engineers, so they help.
It's good to hear you talk about that. And it's just a history of you guys too, 90 years and having been doing modular bows for 20. Like, this isn't new stuff for you guys. And I asked a question because it's a counterpoint that I think we've heard or been asked. And I try to remember those things. So when we have these opportunities to talk, I can ask the source and get a much better answer, because I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. I bet you there's something to it. And, I'm sure it's been thought of. And so I appreciate you entertaining that question, because it's one that comes. It's not one to put you on your heels. It's not the point. You guys are a partner, so I just am like, I want to hear how you would speak about it, because obviously others have thought about it. So
and there's other companies that have went to where they were extremely precise and have then changed their cam system to be more module now. Yep. So I mean, you get people. There's no wrong way. And to your point before too, I always tell people, I was like, thing about archery is the new is old, or the old is new again. You just have to wait.
Yeah, it's fashion.
Yep. I mean, the hunting public bows, the Adapt is a single cam that was, cutting edge technology in like the 90s to 2000s. And boy, that bow just shoots amazing, and we do extremely well with it. And those guys love it. And it's a fun, easy bow to shoot and own. And it's as popular as it's ever been.
Well, I think and this could be, I'm not the archery guy, but it's like, if things are such tight tolerances, the margin for error is slim. And if it's me, I need a little bit more grace. So that's one of the concerns I maybe have even about the Redeem, is like, ooh, is that going to punch above my own personal weight class a little bit? Am I going to like get my shit together to keep up with that bow? Versus something like the Adapt, it's got some forgiveness built into it,
Well, I think that's where we get some of those questions from, is like, you look at the ones Ryan just profiled for us, and they had like 15-pound adjustability in those limbs. There's other bow companies that have, you got like a 5-pound window.
Yep.
Right?
The year I hurt my shoulder, I needed to spin it down.
be able to spin it down
to.
12 pounds, 13 pounds to be able to shoot it, which that's what Bear is giving you, right? And that's not only with that, but a 5-inch window of frickin' draw length adjustability.
Yeah.
So for like a growing, teen boy or girl archer, like, that's huge. Or even somebody who just is going to look to pass the bow down. That's where we get that huge difference. You guys are thinking of it all.
Thanks. We definitely try to think of all those type of things. And, that I tell people, they're like shoes, right? You want to be very comfortable in them. And the more you can adjust it and make it your own, the more comfortable the bow will be. So ideally, you just draw back and relax and shoot. And however we can help you adjust your bow to do that, that's what we want to do.
Yeah, you guys have, like Derek said, on ramps and off ramps. So you can step into it, or you can hand it down. And the fact that it goes both directions in that sense is really quite special, actually, because this is such a legacy-driven thing that we do, that giving a bow to a loved one would be a really special thing. Or Penny, who's got the pink one, and I don't know what that one's set at and when she's going to step into it, but it's there for her. She's got the
She needs
legit,
another
right?
year or two.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep,
But,
yep.
you
She
know,
needs
like
she needs a
how
little bit
far
more.
down can you get? How far down can you crank that thing?
Oh, it goes way down. The legit goes way down. I think Gus has his. It's like
Does he have a legit
20
also?
pounds or something. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
my
depending
biggest
on your
collection.
draw length, like it'll go down to like 10. So, I mean,
That's really cool for a kid to have a bow with that much juice.
yeah. And a
Hmm.
legit, I mean, it's when, I mean, get it to where you can adjust it. All of us can shoot it. I mean, I've been in a group where it's like every one of us could shoot and hunt with this bow if we adjusted it. So one of the things we hear a lot, like you guys were talking about the trade show, like one of the things we hear the most is my first bow was a bear. And we want that. We want all your bows to be a bear. But I think because of that adjustment, we get that a lot because it's just easy to fit to people.
Yeah, you guys get to remain a very romantic brand in the hunting community because of Fred Bear, but also because of the fact that you can be the entry point for everybody. And whether or not people decide to stay or they graduate or they come back or whatever, you're always the first true love, and you never forget your first true love. I think you guys are it for the entire industry. You're like you're the first love of the industry.
I love that analogy. Maybe we should get rid of those other loves. You can just stay with Bear.
Yeah.
Dump them.
You know? That's great. So the Alaskan Pro, it's got a lot of flagship componentry brought into it, but at a price point that's really favorable. I think next in the line we got the Resilient that we were looking to talk about.
It is, and it goes really well with the theme of what we were just talking about there. So what we wanted to do with this bow was, so specifically we wanted to give some higher performance to us archers that have shorter draw lengths, and by us archers I'm including myself in it. So
Got this guy
I'm
here too.
T-Rex
so,
over here.
yep. So this is a great bow for that. So when we were developing the EKO2 cam, we're like, all right, how do we, back to what you're talking about with the mods in a way, we're like, let's make one that's optimized for shorter draw. So we optimized this particular bow. So the Resilient at it's still adjustable from 23.5 to 28 inches on this cam. So it tops out though at 28. And what that's going to do, back to where you were asking about kind of the module, that still has a module, but this is going to give you more performance if you're in in that shorter kind of draw category, I would say there. It's 30 inches axle to axle, which again is a little bit shorter bow, but us guys with some shorter draw lengths, it still fits really well. 30 inches, if you had a 32-inch draw length, that might be a little bit of a mismatch. But 6-inch brace height, your speed you're getting on this is 320. And for shorter draws, I think most of us know, those advertised IBO speeds at, 29 inches and specific arrow size and stuff like that, we don't have the power stroke to get there. But this cam being optimized shorter, you're going to get, really a lot more bang for your buck if you're trying to get a little bit more speed, especially if you want to shoot a heavier arrow. Still though, on the EKO 2 cam, everything's adjustable on the one side. You still get the 80 or 80% let off. And then you get in limb dampeners, in riser dampeners, top and bottom. And this one's just available in our RTH package. So comes with a biscuit, 4-pin sight. It's all ready to go. Stabilizer and quiver, everything you need for $6.99. And ideally, of course, where we're kind of carving out what we want on this bow would be that, if you're a shorter draw, I would argue you should try this one just to see it. The speeds that you still get without having to get up, like lots of times, you'll go to like lighter arrows or things like that. You don't have to give up anything. So I can tell you with my shorter draw, I've shot this one quite a bit. So everybody kind of has their preference, but what we really wanted to do was kind of answer that group.
Well, we appreciate it because I mean, you know the drill, Ryan. Like when you're looking to like get penetration on any game animal and you have a short draw, like you already said it, but those IBO speeds that everybody touts and is on the big, front center of the magazine, advertisement, we're never getting close to that when you're dropping your draw down 4 inches, 5 inches below what IBO standards is. So like, I've messed with everything like arrow weight, tip weight, different, like trying to maximize. I just want to kill that deer as quickly, as efficiently as possible. So I think it's badass that you guys engineered this with that in mind for that shorter turnaround. Still give us guys with the T-Rex arms some power. So thank you on behalf of all the short draw folks.
That's awesome.
No, I appreciate it. That just goes to show, like, a lot of the bows I went over, like, they're not. Some of those I can't even shoot because they're longer draw than I am. Still shoot them, but this one definitely fits the bill, and it's at a really good price point too. So, it's doing well. And then the ready to hunts, which I haven't talked too much about the other ones because you can get them in bow only. Um, and then the Alaskan Pro, you can get bow only, pick out your own stuff, or RTH, which there's a ton of value in the RTH. And then the Redeem is just bow only, but this one's just RTH. So a lot of value built in there, and then you can adjust from there.
Awesome.
I take it.
And then the next bow I'd planned to talk about was
Pristine, right?
Yep, it's a pristine, and it's fairly similar. So what we did there is, so we had a ladies bow in the line for quite a while. It was called the Prowess, and it did well. We really wanted to do an update, and so much so we're just like, let's just build a whole new bow. So what we did there, which the Resilient is in that realm too, but what we did here is that was the Resilient's 30-inch bow, axle to axle. The Pristine is a 29-inch axle to axle. It's also a little bit lighter mass weight. So it's a thinner riser, so you're saving some weight there, but you don't get like the IMS rest mount or the Picatinny for your sight. You do get that on the Resilient. So I mean, there's trade-offs both ways. So when you want it lighter, you're giving up some features for us to get it there. You still get it in RTH. You're still getting the EKO2 cam, but because of how we've changed that frame, and then I'll go over quick too. So this bow is adjustable from 30 to 50. So you've got 20 pounds of adjustment. And the reason that we did that is what we get is, a lot of ladies get into it and they want to get to that 40, 45. Like that's their goal, right? But lots of times you start below it because, as you guys know, archery is tough to exercise those particular muscles in your back to up your draw. Your best way to do that is shoot your bow. So as you're doing that, this allows you to start lighter, like at 30, and then work your way up to whatever your goal weight would be, 40, 45. Some states have regulations, just depends. But this one goes from 24 to 28 and a half and 80% let off on it as well. So kind of going back and forth. So the Pristine, if you're really after something with a lot of, less mass weight and you don't want a draw length over 50, it's the way to go. On the Resilient, I should have mentioned this one does have 20 pounds of adjustment too on each set of limbs, which is a little unique for us. So you can get limbs that'll go 30 to 50 or 50 to 70. Again, this is kind of designed where I know I went back to what you try to do to get speed when you're short draw. Like I'm pulling 70 plus as much as I can get because I'm trying to get all the feet per second I can out of that, right? So now this cam allows you to maybe back that off a little bit if you want, because it is a fast cam. But you can still go 50 to 70 if you know you don't need to work your way up, right? Or you can go 30 to 50 if you're a smaller draw and just like the stability of a little bit heavier bow. So really quite a bit of focus on those draw lengths this year in our line.
It's huge. I like that, just machining in a lighter riser for the folks who are going to be shooting a little bit lighter poundages, like that legit that we talked about that both of my kids have won.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a youth bow per se, so they're still a little heavy. Like they're heavier than a youth bow for sure, because like Joel's shooting one. So like right now, that's the issue, is like Gus can launch a couple arrows. He's like, "Damn, my arm's tired." And I'm like, yeah. Like that's not a little kid bow. So like getting that organized and sorted out for the folks who are going to be starting in that 20 to 30 pound range and hopefully working their way up to a deer hunting weight. That's the best way you can. You said it before, Ryan, is like the best way to get good at archery is just put the bow in your hand and have fun shooting.
Well, the other thing too,
that's how they're going to have fun, is being comfortable.
If you're aging out of this stuff a little bit, and I know anyone that's aging out with the ability to draw back a a compound bow, they are gonna like do that until their shoulder pops out because they don't want to shoot a crossbow. Those folks have a particular stigma against crossbows because of the generation they grew up with or in, and what those mean. I don't really care as much. I'm like, tell my kids, put me in a nursing home, give me a crossbow. I don't really care. I don't have pride. But to know that you can drop things down too, it's a big
Yeah.
deal because they keep you in the game a little bit longer, or through injuries and things like that as well.
No, you're right. And people ask all the time, what smooth cams do you offer? Because they are kind of fighting going into the crossbow, right? At the ATA show where I talked about that customer day, I mean, there was a lot of that where we'd have them shoot like the single cam again. It's super smooth, right? So if you're fighting that, we have some single cam options, and I would say some dual cam options that are a lot smoother out there to where you don't get that pain. And back to the weight, you can set it. I mean, you can buy a 70-pound one and adjust it 15 pounds under if you want, or even less, and still be very shootable. Lots of times when that comes up, people are like, well, yeah, but I think sometimes everybody gets caught up in the cutting edge technology, and don't get me wrong, I clearly do too. But like we were talking before, somehow people used to kill lots of deer with the whitetail too. And I can tell you its specs are nowhere near what these bows were.
Yeah, sometimes you kind of got to get back to the basics and be like, just focus on killing the deer. You can get a little caught up in some of this stuff, and it's exciting. I do think, you said something earlier. We're a bow hunting archery company first. We're a hunting company first, and the way that you produce the products are in such a way that you're not going to have a metal clinking on metal and things like that. And I respect and appreciate that a lot. I don't even know if you guys have anything in the archery category for like tournament archery, if that's even part of what you do. But it makes me think of like, oh, well, Porsche makes the best racing car, but I'm not trying to buy a Porsche when I want to go get groceries in my Porsche SUV. I want my minivan, man. And yes, I like the minivan. Okay, everybody, it's not a secret. It's the Swiss Army knife of the family.
I miss my
I'll die on
minivan.
that hill. Okay, it's great. It's a great vehicle, but it's purpose built for my life. Like your bows are purpose built for hunting, and maybe there's a claim to fame of our cars are the best on the racetrack, but okay, it doesn't really do much good for me. I don't really care, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really been in the target market in a while. I mean, not saying that we would or wouldn't, but I mean, really, right now, we just do hunting bows, where other companies kind of do a little bit of both. So we're always kind of thinking that specific way. I mean, just been the recipe that's worked for us. And I agree with you on the minivan. I didn't want to get one at all, and then once you get one, you're like, wow,
Why
this
was I
made my
so
life a
reluctant?
lot
Yeah.
easier.
They're great. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
man.
And you know what? Here's another point about the minivan. Well, I'm on my little soapbox. Unless you're getting a real SUV that can do 4-wheel drive, all those fake SUVs are just minivans without sliding doors and less clearance in the inside. So like you're really just not actually Traverse is not an SUV. Let me just call that out, okay?
I gotta get some freaking drywall for my basement, and I used to be able to fit 12 sheets of plywood in my minivan, and now I'm like, well, shit, how am I gonna get the drywall?
That whiteboard we just got is
Yeah.
bigger than my kitchen table, and it fit in the minivan, okay?
It's beautiful.
So anyway, I digress. It's good to know that that's how you guys operate. That's your core. Much like Microsoft is a business-to-business software company versus Google is an advertising company. You can't compare the two products, even though they make things that are similar. That the core root, like really one's designed for enterprise grade. So again, that's an example from here nor there, but when you start to get to the crux of what a company's doing, I can appreciate that that's what you guys do. And I'm always proud to go to a 3D archery shoot or tournament or league. I'm never doing it without, I'm like stubbing in for someone usually. But I show up with my hunting bow, and everyone's got these like bows with these stabilizers that are, longer than my leg. And it's very intimidating. And I'm like, well, this is the one I killed deer with. And I do fine. It's fine. So I always think that that's great.
And you see, there's so many different categories in those now, like hunting categories, and then tack's so fun, with the hunting mindset they have.
Yeah, I agree. Although tech sounds like, man, I don't have the lungs for that show.
Dude, we should go do one of those. We'd have to get an arrow sponsor. We need like 150 arrows each because I think we'd be sending them all over the course.
Yeah, we sponsor the
That'd be
OK Hunter
fun.
guys. It's very expensive for free here. I could just hear it now.
Well, when you go and you see those buckets and buckets of arrows they pick up each day, you guys would not be the only ones.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's more people that work.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah, everyone's repping us at that thing. They just don't know it. That's pretty funny. Well, the Adapt, you talked about single cam, and that's what the Bear Empire was when I had that. And what I enjoyed about it, it was super smooth. It was quiet, and it was easy. It wasn't a very intimidating bow. And I think given various hunting scenarios, you could find yourself in all sorts of predicaments where you might be drawn back in a not ideal, perfect situation, which when you're hunting, that's actually pretty, it's actually more often than you would think. So then having some of that forgiveness in a way that's still going to kill a deer, I think this bow comes into play. And we love the hunting public guys. I have nothing against any of those folks.
Is that what they're mostly shooting, Ryan?
They help develop it, I think.
Single cam Adapt?
So there's a few adapts now. So we have what's called the Adapt 2, which is a single cam. We came out with it last year. And so so I've got to work with those guys quite a bit. They love the single cam for everything you just said. When they first launched like the original Adapt, they did a wonderful video and just like a little contest with themselves, and they're like peeking around corners and shooting off their knees and shooting on their butt and all the ways that those guys just spot and stock and do some fun things like that. So single cam's great for that. Now on the Adapt 2, it's still a single cam, 31-inch axle to axle, so still really maneuverable and easy to get around. A lot of adjustment in that too. So I mean, that bow goes 24 to 31 inches. So single cam's got a lot of adjustment in it. And then same with the 15 pounds. But single cam though, some of the reliability, you're just not getting a lot of speed. So it's 320 feet per second. But I mean, the way those guys, their accuracy is what's going to kill the animal, right? So being comfortable, being able to draw that the way you want it, that's their big push. So then fast forward to this year, what we came out with was called the Adapt 2 HP, and HP stands for high performance. So even though the single cam's great and they really liked it, they understood that their customers also like to have more performance, and some of their team members too. Like Gray really likes a high performance bow. There's a few members on their team that like that. So what we did there was gave them a more high performance cam that would up the speed. So now you're talking 330 feet per second on the same riser, same limbs. So it's still 31-inch axle to axle. It does change, so that goes from 27 to 32 inches, so it'll fit some longer draws.
Yeah.
And 80% let off. So you're still getting really good specs on it, but you're just getting that next level of performance, so to say. So just a little bit more in the cams, and it's done extremely well. And what's fun with those guys too, they do a package we just call it the Plus. And when you do a Plus package, I mean, you're getting an upgraded sight, which is like our duo sight, and then you're getting a Hitman stabilizer. So you're really getting the accessories out of the box that almost all those guys are using. So and they had a lot of input in that. So it's fun. Those guys hunt hard. So they have a lot of good input on the equipment.
I think it's interesting how you described that, Greg not only likes a high output bow, a high performance bow, so he's, maybe shooting the double cam, but just being a THP nerd, like loving all their videos, just like I'm sure all of our listeners do. They have it to fit their hunting styles. I mean, Zach and most of those guys are in the timber, sneaking up, hoping these deer crawl into their laps. So the frontal shot at 8 yards with a heavy broadhead is going to do the trick on a single cam. Where Greg is hunting out west more, he's in Nebraska or, South Dakota, and
taking some pokes.
He's got a little bit further shot to make. So that 40-yard shot now becomes more feasible. So I think it's great that you guys are offering these packages that are just slightly different, but catered to how people hunt. And you're a hunting company, as Eric mentioned, that's giving people those small little adjustments to be able to control how they're doing what they're doing and what they're doing it with the right tool.
And like you said, it being a shoe, it's got to be comfortable. And I think comfortability breeds confidence in a way that it can override specs any day of the week.
Yeah, and I think that solo cam to many people do. I mean, it's just solid. It rolls over. It just feels like you've, no play in it. And I think some people like that.
I mean, you when you go to draw back on a deer, you got enough working against you with your nerves. There's enough going on. The last thing to worry about is like letting one fling on accident because it slipped over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, geez. I don't know if that has that happened. I mean, what kind of stories do you guys get back in from consumers? Like, obviously that wouldn't be your fault, but I'm sure stories come attached to some of these things that may be user error.
Yeah, you'd be surprised on what we get
I don't
blamed
know that
for
I would
in
be.
the
I'd have to
equipment
hear one
side.
of these surprises. I'm sure.
How
there's-
many
yeah.
were signed Eric Clark?
Not speaking from experience here.
Just
I don't recommend taking your bow at full draw and bringing it over your bridge or your saddle.
I also don't recommend clipping your release onto your D loop through
Under
your saddle
yeah.
because I did that this year.
Through your saddle under your bridge.
I had my bridge. Yeah, so not through my saddle, but through my bridge. I was watching the buck come in, bumping does,
Rookie move,
and I
Derek.
put it on, and I went to draw it. I was like, "Oh my god, you idiot!" Quick, take it off, throw it back on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, we've all ever like having everything in your favor as much as you can to take out some of the stresses that would stack on top that you shouldn't have to worry about some of those other things. I think you guys got a good setup over there for sure. And obviously we're fans.
Yeah, and what we did with the Adapt, I mean, there's so many models out there right now, and that's what we're just trying to do is, you know, go to your pro shop, go to your big retailer, shoot them all, and find the one that fits best for you, right? I mean, it's hard just to read the specs and know if that's what you want. Once you start to pull it back in the way it feels, we all have our personal preference, and what we're trying to do is just make bows that will work for almost everyone's personal preference.
Yeah, and you guys, and there's more than we talked about. Like you have the shootout and the Frontier that are price point bows. The Persist is still kicking. You said you got the Persist 33. I mean, happy to have you kind of bring up the caboose and anything else that we felt had some room for a spotlight here on the show.
Yeah, I mean, usually, I tend to highlight the new bows, but yeah, we still there's still the Redeem that we went over, the Persist 33, the Whitetail INT, Legend 30. I mean, we're still have a ton of models out there that really like the Alaskan XT. I mean, so if you're looking for a 33-inch bow, we do the legit in a few different ways now too with the standard RTH, but then plus, so if you're looking for some upgraded accessories with the value added to it, we offer that. And then we talked about it a little bit, but especially when you're getting youth into it, we've kind of have the Royale, the Cruiser G4, and the legit Max. I mean, we feel that's a strong lineup, especially, if you're getting younger kids. Back to what you were saying, I always tell it's hard to gauge, but balance is so important. So lots of times if you have somebody hold a bow or a child, it's really about that mass weight. So I've seen 10-year-old kids grab a legit Max and hold it like a grown man, and you're just like, wow, that fits you really well. And then I've seen also 10-year-old kids where we put it in the Royale, and they can't hold a legit Max at all, but they can hold a Royale really, really well. So I mean, that's why we do those different models, because I know I've said Fred Bear quite a bit on this talk, but like if you get a bad experience in really anything, and archery is the same, you don't enjoy it and you won't come back to it. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we have a product that best foot forward. Like you're gonna enjoy it if you pick the right bow.
And that's a two-stage thing. You get a bad experience in hunting, and you might not come back to it. But the precursor to that is archery.
Yes.
So you got to have one of these things right, so that the next thing can go right. Because there's so many things that can go sideways. You're just in the raw elements, and you're hunting with a weapon. There's a lot going on here, and you guys have thought of all of those things, and probably through customer stories, customer service, engineering, manufacturing, being in the industry forever. Like there's a lot that you guys have on your side. That there might be some other really great bow companies out there, and I'm sure there are, and there are. I'm not gonna. We're never into putting anybody else down, but like when you have the history you guys have, that's really impressive. I think there's some of these companies that haven't been around for a decade yet, and they got all this chest pumping going on. It's like, hold on here. Like lifetime warranty, you haven't been here for 5 years yet. How do I know you're going to be here for another 5? All that kind of stuff.
Yep, we like all the feedback. I mean, it helps us build better bows. Like to your point on customer service, like there for a while, like you would hear of bows derailing and stuff like that. I mean, that's why. I mean, you think about just about anything, there's a reason for it. So we have deeper cams because of it, and then making your cam not too deep, but deep enough. I mean, there's a lot of engineering that goes into everything on really all of the bows.
Yeah, it's you guys do a good job, and we're lucky to have you guys working with us, goofballs over here. And I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening to come and talk about the bows and your babies. Did you say which one your favorite was? I know you kind of like deflected initially, but did you allude to it?
Let's hear it.
I don't know if I said I do really like the Resilient. The Redeem, I mean the pocket's amazing on it, but I mean you guys will like this. I forced myself to use a little bit of everything. So right now I'm planning to turkey hunt with the Adapt 2 and the Solo Cam, but I've found myself lately shooting the Resilient quite a bit more than I anticipated early. So we'll see which one makes it to the turkey blind first. But
That's where you're going.
Yeah, keep us posted, man. Keep us posted.
No, thanks again. And there weren't a whole bunch of comments that came through. It said, we're in January, so I'm sure that's a thing. But we'd be happy to have you guys on again as we get closer to season, whether that's turkey and certainly, whitetail. It might be a good time to get back on come summertime when people are starting to pick those bows up, getting out of case, starting to shoot at targets in the backyard. And
closer to Foam Fest, our archery event.
Yeah, we do an archery event at Horkin Marsh Archers in Horkin Marsh, or Horkin, Wisconsin here. It's gonna be our 4th or 5th year doing that, and it's growing every year. But you guys have been great because you've donated bows to the people that participate in that event, and we've been able to give bows away to children and vets and all sorts of great people, and it's been pretty great. You come to an archery event, and you win a bow, you feel pretty good.
Well, yeah, and one of the fellows who was a friend of yours who had won a bow, and he wanted to set it up that day. Let's get it going. We set up, and he shot a beautiful buck with it this past season.
Yeah,
really beautiful 10-pointer. So it was pretty cool to see
keep
see
an eye
the
on that
photos
bow.
of him with that bow that he won at the event, which was from
I think
you guys.
that bow got him kind of back into things, because I think he was I would say he was kind of falling out of archery, but that bow really reinvigorated him getting back into getting a deer the way he wanted to.
It absolutely did.
It really breathed some life back in him as a deer hunter, which is really cool.
See, that speaks to the fun of it. Don't get me wrong, I love all the hunting aspect of with the bow and stuff, but I mean, it's clear I'm a tech product nerd, so sometimes that motivates you, right? Like nothing motivates me more to go out there than when I get to go on another hunt with something brand new. Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
For sure. Well, no, yeah, thanks again for hanging out with us on the show. We're excited to have you back on. I think when people are tuning things up, we could maybe change the cadence of topic a little bit to put a lens on of like, let's get this thing prepped. What do we need to be thinking about? How do we need to be thinking about it? Yada, yada, yada. I think that'd be really good. And maybe you're the guy, Ryan. Maybe someone else over there could speak to it too, whatever you guys think. But it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for your expertise.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. I hope you get to feeling better.
Yeah, otherwise I'll just keep talking real deep, and this will be your podcast voice. So we'll see. Yes, I don't mind it too much. It is a lot of strenuous work on the old vocal cords, but we're getting there. Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ryan.